Hello and welcome to Death of Raven Gaming. Or should I say, welcome back to Death of Raven Gaming. Today we're gonna play some Marvel Champions, but a little bit different than we usually did it. And so today we're actually going to play with some new stuff from the new Sinister Motives expansion. And for the first time, we're gonna do a two-handed play with Spider-Man, aka Miles Morales, and Ghost Spider, or Spider-Gwen. And we are going to face the Sinister Six. And I apologize if it's a little bit weirder than usual. I only have two cameras and really want to try and get these two characters together, so you might not see that many cards. But otherwise you can go into the webpage of Hall of Heroes to see all the cards alongside if you really want to. So, let's get started. So today, because of that, I pre-built some decks, and for some reason I have shuffled them. I guess I was bored, but I want to show you some of the cards for each hero. And so yeah, I've pre-built the decks to save time, since usually we only play one-handed, which we're gonna continue doing in the future. But this is just now when we've got new stuff, I thought it would be fun to see them work together as well. So we can start with Miles Morales, that you can't see really that well. So 4 recovery, 6 hand size, hit points 9. Civilian responds after you change to this form. Shuffle one Spider-Man card from your discard pile into your deck. So that's quite nice. He wants to go back, and he really enjoys it. And then on the other side, we have a 2/2/2 stat line, Champion Web Warrior, and then he has 2 special abilities: Venom Blast, deal 2 damage to an enemy and stun that enemy, or Spider Camouflage, give Spider-Man a tough status card, confuse an enemy. So those we only use if we have something in his other cards that activates them. So let's go through some of his other cards. We can start with actually the one who's supposed to be first. I should have had these in order, but thanks to all the chaos with the computer, I'm not as prepared as I wanted to be. But let's start with Arachnobatics, which is a 1... Oh, my light is not made for holding it up like that. So, 1 cost event, attack. Hero action. Deal 2 damage to an enemy. If that enemy has a stun status card, deal 3 additional damage to it. If that enemy has a confused status card, deal 3 additional damage to it. So possibility of 8 for 1. But most usually I think we're going to get 5 for 1, which is still very good. Let's just take the order I have them now. Next up we have Double Life, which is a 1 cost event. Max 1 per round. Action, change your form. If you paid for this card using a physical resource, ready your identity. So he wants to flip back, get the effect, maybe do some alter ego stuff, and then maybe flip back. Or the opposite, be in here, flip, do something, and then flip back. So that's pretty cool with Double Life, that he lets to do that. Then we have 2 copies of Swing In. Swing In is a 2 cost event. Thwart, hero action thwart. Remove 4 threat from a scheme. If you paid for this card using a mental resource, resolve Spider-Man's Spider Camouflage ability. So, for 2 resources, if you pay with a mental resource, you remove 4 threat from a scheme, get a tough status card, and confuse the enemy. So if you can get that going, that is super good. Next up, we have... I'm just trying to find it. Yeah, the attack versions. Wait. Yeah, it was only 2, 5, 6... Yes, it was only 2 Swing In. Wait a second. Okay, I apologize. 3 cups of Web Shot, which is a 2 cost event. Sorry. Attack. Hero action attack, deal 4 damage to an enemy. If you pay for this card using an energy resource, resolve Spider-Man's Venom Blast ability. So it's basically 6 damage and stun for 2, which is also really good if you can do that. Then we have a copy of Power Within. 1 cost upgrade. Superpower, and after your hero uses a basic power, discard Power Within to resolve Spider-Man's Venom Blast ability. And then we have the other one, which is the same, but Spider Camouflage. Then we have 2 Persona supports. We have one that I can only use in Alter Ego, which is his dad, Jefferson Davis. 2 cost support, Persona Shield. Alter Ego action, exhaust Jefferson Davis to remove 1 threat from the scheme with the least threat. So that's some nice threat removal when you're in hero form, in Alter Ego form. But otherwise not that good. And then we have Gank Lee, which I think is his best friend, which is a 2 cost support, Persona action. So even if you're in hero, exhaust Gank Lee, draw 1 card, and then if you're in hero form, you choose and discard 1 card from your hand. So better when you're in Alter Ego, but still good if you are in hero form. And then we have 2 copies of the classic Spider-Man web shooters that the original Spider-Man has as well. So 1 cost upgrade, item tech, uses 3 web counters, and then hero resource, exhaust web shooters, and remove a web counter to generate a wild resource. It's just a nice wild resource, which is really good with him to get off those web shots and swing ins. So yeah, we have that there. I actually have a shield build in Justice today, because I put him in Justice, because he came with Justice and he came with a shield build. So I wanted to use some new cards. We use Nick Fury, which is a normal 4 cost ally, 2 thwart, 2 attack, 3 health. After Nick Fury enters play, choose 1, remove 2 threat from a scheme. Draw 3 cards or deal 4 damage to an enemy at the end of the round if Nick Fury is still in play. Discard him. Mockingbird's the 3/1/1 3 health. 3 cost, 1 thwart, 1 attack, 3 health. That when she enters, she stuns an enemy. Which is also gonna work well with Arachnobatics. Next up we have Agent 13, which is a 4 cost ally, 2 thwart, 1 attack, 4 health. Shield Spy. Response after Agent 13 attacks or thwarts. Choose a shield support. Ready that support. So we're gonna have a couple of shield supports. Then we have Dum Dum Dugan. 5 cost ally. 3 thwart but for 3 damage. 3 attack for 2 damage. 5 health. But when you use one of Dum Dum Dugan's basic powers, exhaust up to 3 shield cards you control. For each card exhausted this way, Dum Dum Dugan gets +1 to the power for this use. I don't know how good he is, but I want to try him, especially since we have Jefferson Davis that we can't use in hero, which will mean we can use him even when we're here with him. Then we have only two Justice allies. We have Monica Chang, new ally, 3 cost ally, 1 thwart, 1 attack, 2 health. When she enters play, I search my deck, hand, and discard pile for a copy of the Surveillance Team support and put it into play. And then place a Snoop counter on each Surveillance Team you control. We can actually go into the Surveillance Teams. I have 3. I don't usually play them, but I wanted to try them now with Monica Chang, who makes them better. They're 2 cost supports with 3 Snoop counters, and I can exhaust them to remove a counter to remove a threat from a scheme. Generally not that good, but I want to see with Monica if we can make it better. And then we have Quake. Classic ally in the game, 2 cost ally, 1 thwart, 2 attack, 2 health. After a minion schemes, exhaust Quake to deal 2 damage to that minion. And then I have 2 sonic rifles, which comes in with 2 charges for 3, and I can exhaust it to confuse an enemy. Just another way to get that Arachnobatics more safe, and also since we play multiplayer, it's nice to be able to confuse a little bit if the other ones or ourselves have to go back. 3 copies of Field Agent, which is a 1 cost support, uses 3 backup counters. When a shield ally would take any amount of consequential damage, exhaust Field Agent or remove a backup counter from it to prevent one of that damage. So it's just to get some more uses out of our allies. Then I have the classic double resources. I have endurance plus 3 health, downtime plus 2 recovery. I'm just trying to see here if there's anything normal. Yeah, okay. So then we have 2 clear the area, which is a 1 cost event. Remove 2 threat from a scheme. If this removes the last threat from that scheme, draw a card. It's just really, really good to have some. Then we have Homeland Intervention. 0 cost event. Exhaust up to 3 shield cards you control and choose a scheme. Remove 2 threat from that scheme for each card exhausted this way. It's a nice way late game to get some, or if we have some allies out maybe, to have some extra threat removal. Then we have 1 copy of Sky Destroyer, which is a 3 cost support. Shield Vehicle responds after you play a shield card. Exhaust Sky Destroyer to deal 2 damage to an enemy. If we can get it early, it would be really, really nice, just to be able to get some damage when we build. Otherwise, we have 3 0-cost global logistics, which are events. Shield Tactics. Exhaust 1 shield card you control. Look at the top 4 cards of the player's deck, or the encounter deck. Discard any number of those and put the others on top and or bottom of that deck in any order. It's just nice to have some encounter deck control, and especially since we can exhaust Jefferson Davids for it when we're in hero form, so we can still get use from him. Then we have 3 copies of Government Liaisons. I don't know how good these are gonna be, but it's just hero action. Exhaust it to play a shield card from your hand, reducing its resource cost by 1. I just want to see if it can help. Otherwise, like, we can still use it for, like, global logistics and stuff. So that's Spider-Man's deck. I know I went through it fast, but it's just kind of have to, since we're doing 2 decks today. I'm just gonna shuffle. Also, this is my new playmat, which I actually really, really enjoy. And so we have Spider-Man's health here, and Ghost Spider's health there. So yeah, I am putting the deck there in the meantime. Did I shuffle Ghost Spiders? Yes, I did. Just give me 1 second. This one, I think, is the one that is least like its pre-built deck, because her pre-built deck is very Web Warrior heavy, and I actually avoided that because I think that's gonna be even. I really want to play it later more, when more Web Warrior cards have come out in different aspects, and match them up. So yeah, that's why I'm doing it like this. I'm just really fast separating the cards, just so I have an idea what I'm saying when. Okay, so let's start with Gwen Stacy. 3 recovery. Choose to either shuffle Ticket to the Multiverse from your discard pile into your deck, or ready George Stacy as an action. 6 hand size, 10 health. So, to understand how good that is, we're gonna look at Ticket to the Multiverse and George Stacy. So let's start with George Stacy. 1 cost support. Persona. Events attached to George Stacy may be played as if they were in your hand. Action. Exhaust George Stacy and attach 1 event from your hand face down here to a maximum of 3. So you can keep events in your hand for longer, which is really, really good. And if you want to put 2 events in, you can just use the action there to ready, so you can put another 1. Next up we have Ticket to the Multiverse, which is a 2 resource card, first of all. There's a 3 cost upgrade. And then as an action, you can remove it from the game to discard your hand, shuffle your discard pile into your deck, draw up to your hand size, and ready each Ghost Spider card you control. It's kind of what you want to do like when you want a second turn to just win the game. Otherwise, just use it for its resources, which is why it's nice to be able to shuffle it from my discard pile into the deck. Then we have Ghost Spider's side, which is one of the trickier heroes they've released. 1 thwart, 2 attack, 3 defense. Web Warrior. Dizzying reflexes. Response. After you resolve an interrupt or response ability on an event, ready Ghost Spider. Limited once per phase. So that is obviously really, really good. The stat line, not for thwarting, but for defending, which we're trying to do in this deck that I built, is really, really good. And just to be able to ready when we do an interrupt or response effect on an event is really, really good. And it's that it's limited once per phase, so we can do it on our phase, and then the villain phase. So it's actually really, really good. Next up, we're going to look at Parental Guidance. It is another one of the cards that... Wait. Another one of the cards that works well with her dad, George Stacy. Alter Ego action. 0 cost event. Alter Ego action. If George Stacy is in play, attach 1 event from your hand or discard pile face down to George Stacy. If George Stacy is not in play, search your deck and discard pile for him and add him to your hand. So that's quite nice. It's actually really, really good. Might be worth... It means you can have 2 ways to get George Stacy in your hand. Either having your Stacy or Parental Guidance. Which means it might be worth hard mulligan for him, because it's so important for the deck. But next up, we have some, of course, responses or interrupts. So we have 3 copies of Phantom Flip. 2 cost event, Thwart. Hero response, Thwart. After Ghost Spider uses a basic power, remove 5 threat from a scheme. Max 1 per basic power used. These are amazing. Especially in a defensive deck like this. You might actually do more as Ghost Spider in the villain phase in this deck than in your phase. Because the defending is a basic power, so if you defend, you can also pay 2 to play this to also remove 5 threat from a scheme before encounter cards, which can be really, really strong. aka before drawing something that puts threat there so you lose. Then of course we have an attack version. Ghost Kick. Exact same thing, hero response attack. After Ghost Spider uses a basic power, deal 6 damage to an enemy. Max 1 per basic power use. Also really, really nice. If you want to defend, and then just hit. And we're going to talk about another card why it might be actually really, really good. Because we have Web Bracelets. Different from Spider-Man's, but 2 cost upgrade, Web Bracelets, Item Tech, Hero Response. After you resolve and interrupt the response ability on an event, exhaust Web Bracelet to draw a card, max 1 per event. So imagine it's our turn. We Ghost Kick after we defend. We ready ourselves. We exhaust 1 of them to draw a card. Then we're probably still going to be able to do stuff on our turn. So that's really, really, really good. It's annoying that it's 2, because you can only use max 1 per event, but it's still nice if you can get 2 events off. Next up we have Pirouette and Punch, 2 cost event. Skill, Hero Interrupt. When a card is revealed from the encounter deck, deal damage to the villain equal to 1 or more than the number of boost icons on that card. Cancel the cards when revealed effect. Just amazing, and it's an interrupt. Now we have 2 cost event, Web Binding. Requirement mental, so we need a mental to play it. But Hero Interrupt. When an enemy would activate, cancel the activation. If a minion activation was cancelled this way, deal 4 damage to that minion. So it's basically a late stun during the activation. You can pull into it and stun with it, basically. Which is really, really nice. So that's Ghost Spider's cards. And then her deck. 3 double resources, endurance and downtime for extra health and recovery. Spider-Man, 3 cost ally, 2 thwart, 2 attack, 3 health. Requires 1 of each. One of each resource. But response after Spider-Man attacks or thwarts. Choose another Web Warrior character, ready that character. We're just trying to ready Ghost Spider as much as we can, honestly. We can always use it as a 2 attack, basically. Or if we're first and Spider-Man had to defend, we can just be like, oh guys, oh it's chill, we can just take care of it. And of course we're trying to have as many disruptive stuff here as possible, interrupts and responses. So we have 2 Get Behind Me, 1 cost event that cancels an encounter cards when revealed effect, and the villain attacks you instead. But it's an interrupt, so can ready and Ghost Spider can defend immediately if you were already exhausted. Which means that's after you resolve an interrupt the response, so that doesn't work at all. Anyway, it's still gonna be good. Actually, that means you can exhaust to defend when that one happens, and then get untapped, because it's after, and the villain attacks you is part of the hero interrupt. Preemptive Strike 3, 1 cost events, defense. When a boost card is turned face up while the villain attacks, cancel all boost icons on the card, then deal 1 damage to the villain for each boost icon cancelled this way. Instead of defending, just, you know, you can actually defend, because you defend first before you turn the boost, which means then you can play that and get up again, which is quite nice. I have 2, I think. Yeah, 2 Never Back Down, 2 cost events. 1 cost event, 2 of them. Defense, when you defend against an attack, it's a hero interrupt. You get +2 defense for this attack. If you take no damage from this attack, stun the enemy. +2, stun the enemy if you don't take damage, and then get up. Really, really good. Because we're defending so much, we have 3 Hard to Ignore, which is when we defend and take no damage, we remove a threat from the main scheme. It's an upgrade. We have 2 Return to Favor. 0 cost event, attack. Hero action, discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until you discard a Treachery. Reveal the Treachery to deal 5 damage to the villain. If we have some cards to cancel effects and stuff, it's really, really nice to be able to deal 5 damage for 0. Effectively. 2 Subdues, 1 cost event, hero interrupt again. When an enemy initiates an attack, the enemy gets -3 for that attack. Have 1 unflappable, 1 cost upgrade. After you defend against an attack and take no damage, exhaust to draw a card. We have an armor vest to give us +1 defense. There was 1 more Never Back Down. 2 1 cost event Jump Flip. Hero interrupt. When you would take any amount of damage, prevent 2 of that damage. If you paid for this card using an energy resource, remove 2 threat from the main scheme. 1 to remove 2 threat and prevent 2 damage. That's going to be really, really nice. We have the Night Nurse, which is a support. We can exhaust up to 3 times and remove a medical counter from her. Like, exhaust and remove a medical counter for her. She has 3. Heal 1 damage from a hero and discard a status card. Mostly for the status card removal, because it's going to be really nasty for both of us to have status cards. Then we're running 3 more allies in this deck. Victor Mancha. 2 cost ally, 0 thwart, 0 attack, 4 health. Reduce the amount of damage Victor Mancha takes from each attack by 1. A nice way to just take some hits. It's just a nice meat shield. Then we have 4 cost ally, Iron Fist. 1 thwart, 2 attack, 3 health. If he has to play with 2 Mystic counters, when he attacks, you can remove a Mystic counters to stun the enemy and deal damage to it. It just... That one is mostly if we're first with Ghost Spider. It would be really nice to set up for if you're gonna do arachnobatics around stuff. And also stunning is really, really nice. Then we have Silk. 0 cost ally. 1 thwart, 1 attack, 2 health. After you play Silk from your hand, if you control another Web Warrior card, which we do if we're in Ghost Spider form, search the encounter deck for a Treachery and discard it. Oh, well, sorry. I messed up the camera a little bit. It's not the best way for me to sit either, but it's what I have to do now, sadly. I'm gonna try and fix it better for next time. Okay, so that was that. So we're facing the Sinister Six today. Usually I would randomize the villain in this case, but I really want to play Sinister 6. And since we're not randomizing the decks anyway, the heroes or the aspects, because we want to do their starting aspects when they come in new stuff, I just thought it was easier to just prepare everything. So yeah. I'm just gonna shuffle this properly. Then we're gonna look at the main scheme and stuff. So yeah, no, it's I just got it today. I want to just talk a little bit about why I've been not streaming for like months. As I said last time, it was because I had to move, and my girlfriend was gonna leave the country for a while, for private reasons, and I moved after my parents for a while. I'm still 23, so it's not too bad. But we moved back before she could go back to France. And then I couldn't stream really, and then I didn't have time to set up a stream setup somehow. And I've only had 2... And then I had skirmish for Flesh and Blood one weekend, so I wanted to practice instead when I came back from France, because it was also the days I was super tired. It was the day after I came back from France, because I traveled with her, so I could help her move her stuff. And last week I was going to do it, but it was planned that I was going to get Sinister Motives. And I didn't, and it was problematic and stuff, so I didn't know when. So I just ran out of time. But I'm back now. Now I have a stream setup here as well. I'm gonna make the stream setup here better, but I have at least one now. So I'm gonna start streaming again. Okay. So we have the main scheme, which I'm just gonna bring it back on this one because you can see it's here. So I'm stretching away from the microphone when I do it. So we choose X villains at random, where X is one or more the number of players. So we're technically 2 players. So we're gonna choose 3 villains at random, and those villains start into play. And then we have a activation counter on the villain with the lowest activation order value, and set the other villains aside, and then put the light at the end side scheme into play, trap side face up. So yeah. So wait, I'm just gonna. Yeah, it's not the best setup, but now I moved so I can move forward. So let's go back here. So, who is our 3 villains? Our first villain is Vulture. 1 scheme to attack, activation order 6, so pretty late, or actually the latest it can be. Forced response: after Vulture attacks and damages you, choose and discard 1 card from your hand, and move the active counts to the next villain in activation order. When defeated, remove 4 threat from a side scheme. Set this villain aside. 7 threat instead if no villain is in play. There's no other villain in play, so you can remove threat from a side scheme for killing him. So yeah, this one we don't try to kill them. We have a mission here we're gonna go through. Next up we have Scorpion. Activation order 5. 0 scheme, 3 attack. After Scorpion attacks and damages you, stun a character you control to move the active count to the next villain in the activation order. And when defeated, you remove 4 threat from a side scheme. 7 threat is that if no villain in play. Okay, so all of them has the when defeated effect. And set the villain aside. Yes. Last up, we have, 4. Craven the Hunter. 1 scheme. I'll just put them outside. 1 scheme to attack. After Craven the Hunter attacks and damages you, choose to discard a support or upgrade you control, and then move it. Okay. Which means, I'm actually gonna let, who is gonna be first player? I want to put it now, but I'm just gonna put it on Spider-Man. It seems fitting. And then, just because it's thematically fitting. Our our activation token for them is gonna be this green. It's actually for Spider-Woman, but still. And then we have light at the end up here. It's a side scheme, so that's kind of what you want to defeat them for. Oh, yeah. Permanent, hinder 10 per player. The players cannot win unless they escape. When the last threat is removed from this scheme, resolve the ambush ability on the main scheme, flip this card. The player can escape on the other side. So it's another one of those you want to remove threat from a side scheme. Not the main scheme this way, but a side scheme. So let's... There we have 20 threats. And there one of my light boxes went. Yeah, this is quite improvised, so I apologize for the quality today. Then we flip this one, and it's ambush special. So it's a special one that's like when that one flips and other stuff. You just choose a set aside villain at random, put it into play, and place the active counter on it. And in expert mode, which we're gonna play, place 2 threat on the light at the end. And then force interrupt when a villain would activate if no villain is in play. Resolve this card's ambush ability. Continue that activation. So yeah. I'm just gonna drink a little bit because I've been talking a lot. So yeah. That one comes in with 2 threat on it. I'm just gonna put it on the other side. And then hit points on the villains. I'm just gonna put damage tokens as their hit points because I went to go with Ghost Spider and Spider-Man on the screen instead because I needed to. And I had so many villains, so I couldn't even add another one because that would be super annoying. So Kraven the Hunter comes in with 9 health hit points. So 9. That's his health and not the damage on him. Just so we can see more easily how much health they have. Next up we have Scorpion, who has 10 health. I'm gonna do 2 5s instead of a 10 because it's easier to go down from there. And then Vulture, who has 7. Okay, so let's start doing this. Let's start by drawing our hands. Spider-Man, I'll just draw here. 5, 6, because we're gonna start, of course, in Alter Ego, because we're playing the actual game by its rules. I'll let you see this board. This is my board gaming table, so I'll let you see this this corner, so you can see the hands. Okay. Let's just look at Gwen's hand first, since Phantom Flip. Okay, yeah. Armored Vest get behind me, never back down, and downtime to start with. That's quite good. I don't really want to mulligan, even though I really, really want George Stacy, because this is actually a really, really good hand. So let's just keep that. Then we have Arachnobatics, Jefferson Davis, Dum Dum Dogan, Government Liaison, and Webshot, and Global Logistic. Okay. Okay. I see. So, good luck to us. So see here what I want to do. I'm gonna actually lay them down like this so you always can see their hand. Well, I mean, I know you can't read it, but at least you see the pictures roughly to figure out what cards are what. I can do it like that so it's more in the light. I'm even running out of weights. Let me just... Did I? No, it's fine. So now you can at least, you know, see a little bit what the cards are. I'm gonna put a black pen in between the hands, I guess. That doesn't really work. Oh well, I'm trying. That's just what it works with setup sometimes. So, Spider-Man. What I'm going to do is I really want... So what I'm going to do is I am going to... Now Wait. There we have it. I'm going to... discard Arachnobatics and Global Logistic to play Government Liaison. It's not the best play, but flip to hero form. Discard Dum Dum Dugan and exhaust Government Liaison to play Jefferson Davis. I don't get the threat removal for it, but it's something. Then Spider-Man is gonna punch Vulture, I think. That's all he does. Which means it's her turn. What she wants to do is she's gonna... I'm just gonna say I'm sorry if I say pitch instead of discard. Because I'm playing a lot of Flesh and Blood recently, and you say pitch there. So it's gonna be easier for me. So I'm gonna pitch, never back down, to play an Armored Vest. I'm gonna pitch a Get Behind Me to play a Downtime. I'm gonna flip into Ghost Spider. I am going to... I'm gonna attack. Craven. When I do that, I pitch energy to play Phantom Flip. After you use a base power, remove 5 threat from a scheme. Max 1 per base power, but it's a hero response, which means I'm gonna ready myself, which means I can attack again for 2 away on Craven the Hunter. And that was both turns, so let's ready everything. Wait. Drop to 5. Quake, Field Agent, swing in and clear the area. Pirouette and Punch, Phantom Flip, Iron Fist, Endurance, Unflappable. Okay. Which means... it's the villain phase. Which means we go over there. We're going up by 2 threats. And then Craven the Hunter is going to attack Spider-Man. And in this case, Spider-Woman is gonna defend. Ghost Spider is gonna defend that, which means I defend for 4. He attacks for 2, 3, 4 exactly, so does not take any damage. But I throw away Endurance and Iron Fist to play Phantom Flip. I use a basic power by defending. which means I get to remove 5 threats from a scheme. And then I get to get ready Ghost Spider again. And then, when it attacks, I get to move the active counter to Scorpion, which means Scorpion is gonna attack Ghost Spider, where Ghost Spider is also gonna defend. This is a higher chance that she fails, though. 4 blocks 4, so no stun, and then it moves to Vulture. So that was, I mean, she defended everything. And I removed 5 threats, so that's quite good. And I still can discard Pirouette and Punch to play Unflappable next turn, so that's quite good. And that one's bottom, that one is top. So, let's see here. Spider-Man draws Assault. The villain attacks you. Attacks for 2. Yeah, the villain is gonna attack, which is Vulture. The question is how I want to do this. Yeah, I'm just gonna take it. So he attacks for 2, 3, and a boost. Which means, first of all, I take 3 damage on Spider-Man. Wait a second. Why don't you work now? My health counters does not work. What? Yeah, no, it doesn't work. Shoot. Well, I was gonna take 1 damage, and then this one deals 1 indirect damage to each player. I'll be right back. Let me just fix this, because this is a problem that's gonna be annoying. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. That was pretty easy fix, just annoying with everything gone wrong already. But I'm sure you get it. So, Spider-Man took 4 health totally. That was Ghost Spider. Spider-Man takes 4 health, 3 because of the attack, 1 from the indirect damage. Ghost Spider takes 1 from the indirect damage. Then Vulture's effect, as I attack and damages me, I have to choose and discard a card from my hand. So I am going to choose... clear the area. No, Quake. I'm gonna lose Quake. Okay. Let's see Ghost Spider's card. Teamworks make the dream work. Each enemy gets +1 scheme and +1 attack. That's nasty AF. Let me just do that so you see. That's really nasty. Anyway. Over to Ghost Spider's turn, who's not gonna do that much. Pitch Pirouette Punch to play Unflappable. That's all she does. Which means to go to Spider-Man, who hopefully can do some more. Question is if I want to do Swinging In or Web Shot. Do I want to deal damage? The thing is... Right, because Web Shot doesn't have to be the same as my special. So what I can do, technically, is I can throw away, clear the area, and swing in to shoot Web Shot, which means I use a lightning resource, which means deal 4 damage to an enemy. I'm dealing 4 damage to the to Craven, actually. So Craven has 1 life left. Then it says resolve Spider-Man's Venom Blast ability. Deal 2 damage to an enemy, which is a new choice. Those 2 I deal to Scorpion. And then I stun the enemy I damaged this turn. Which means Scorpion is stunned. And then I pitch Government Liaison to play a field agent. Sorry. Exhaust that one to reduce the cost of a shield card when I play it. And then I play Field Agent, which has 3 backup counters. Just for the future when we get some allies out. Then Spider-Man exhausts and kills Craven, which means remove 4 threat from a side scheme. So I'm actually gonna remove 4 threat from that one, because that one is real nasty. Actually, Voltra attacked, which means that one is there. I'm guessing it just goes to the next one when I defeat him. I could flip down, but then they're gonna scheme. Scorpion schemes for 0, and Vulture only schemes for 1, so that might be fine. Because if I, because if I do that, I can remove teamwork. Yeah. So actually, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flip down with Spider-Man. So after you change this form, shuffle 1 Spider-Man card from your discard pile into your deck. So I would love getting Web Shot back in my deck, because we're gonna need... That's the biggest problem these 2 decks have, is dealing damage. Because we only have damage from the character stuff. Which means now I can exhaust Jefferson Davis, which will remove 1 threat from the scheme with least threats, which is that one. Which means that one removes. And now it is Villain Face. Well, actually, we're gonna have to ready everything first. You drop to 5. Preemptive Strike. Pirouette and Punch. Subdue. Jump Flip. Phantom Flip. Okay. which means it is Miles' turn to draw a card. 1, 2, Field Agent, Global Logistics, Gankali, Web Shooters, Arachnobatics, and Defense Mechanism. Okay, let me just drink right before this villain phase. Hydration is important. That one goes up to 6. Which means Scorpion activates. He's stunned against Ghost Spider, so nothing happens. Vulture gets to... which means this one moves. Vulture gets to scheme, which he does for 3, sadly. Which means you're up to 8, halfway to lose there. But it's only on the attack it moves this to the next villain, so he's still the active villain. Which means we're gonna get encounter cards. And we have here Team Leader, attach the villain and the lowest activation number. If you cannot resolve the ambush ability on the main scheme, then attach the card to the active villain. Oh no. That, my friends, if I don't remember fully wrong, means we have to kill him before we remove threat from a scheme. Huh. And Miles gets mass plan. Place 4 threats on each side scheme. Sure, we can put 4 threats on the side scheme. And yes, I know I have Pirouette and Punch, but I want to just do other stuff as well, so... which means we go back to Miles. It is specifically thwart, I think, in the Cry Cycle means. Which means Jefferson Davis can still be used to remove a threat. Which is quite nice. It would be nice to heal up, but I don't know if I can do that. So let's do this first. Let's discard Global Logistics and Field Agent to play Gank Lee, which means I'm gonna get to draw a card. Downtime is not something I need, really. Which means I'm gonna... yeah, I'm gonna flip... no, I'm gonna exhaust. Sadly, I'm gonna have to exhaust there to heal up to 9. Then I flip. Gonna pitch downtime to play Web Shooters for the future. And I'm actually gonna use one of those counters now to play Defense Mechanism to set it up for a good turn next turn, sadly. Yeah. Which means we go over to Ghost Spider's turn. She's not gonna be able to do that much. So can't remove threat from a scheme until he's gone. I guess that's what they mean with, since I don't think I've seen it on a character before, right? Or how? Is there anything special they say about knowing about this scenario? No. No, it doesn't say anything. So yeah, I guess that's how it works. But I can't use Phantom Flip to double tap, sadly. I don't think I can do anything with my hand. It doesn't change the board state. I really can't do anything. I'm just gonna have to punch Scorpion. And that's all I'm gonna do, and then I'm gonna keep my hand. Yeah. We draw up to 5. Government Liaison. Government Liaison. Web Shooters. Web Shot. Oh. If I don't lose any cards, I'm gonna be able to do a 9 damage turn. I don't have anyone to do 9 damage to. Oh well. Villain turn. 2 threat on the main scheme. Then it is Vulture who attacks Spider-Man. The Ghost Spider is gonna defend that, which means he attacks for 4. And actually what I'm gonna do then is I'm gonna discard Subdue to play Preemptive Strike to cancel all boost icons, which is 3, and deal 1 damage to the villain for each boost icon cancelled. So deal 3 damage to him. And I don't take the 3 damage from that, and I block everything, and since Preemptive Strike is a hero interrupt, I ready myself with Ghost Spider. And then we go over to Scorpion. And because I didn't take any damage, I can exhaust Unflappable to draw a card, which is Strength. Oh yeah, okay. Which means I'm gonna defend against Scorpion. And he just hits for 3, which means I don't take any damage. Which means you just go down to encounter cards. So, Spider-Man. Caught off guard. Discard an upgrade or support you control. If no cards were discarded this way. Yeah, sure. Sorry, Jefferson Davis. Next up, we have Assault. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to discard a card anyway. I'm not gonna do anything during my turn next turn though, but if she can control them while Spider-Man punches, I should be fine. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna just do. It has 0 though, so I could deal damage to it and cancel it. But I'm just gonna cancel it. I cancel Assault not to get hit, because I would have to discard a card. I'm already exhausted, so yeah. Okay. That's fine. That's what she's here for. Which means it goes over to our turn again. And Ghost Spider is now the first player. Ghost Spider doesn't do anything. She's happy as she is. Which means we go over to Spider-Man. It's going to do a lot. Start by expanding a government liaison to play a web shooter. I exhaust both my web shooters. Or am I? No. I use one of my web shooters and government liaison to play web shots. Deal 4 damage to an enemy. Which I'm gonna do to Mr. Scorpion. And then I get to resolve Spider-Man's Venom Blast ability, which would deal 2 damage and stun an enemy. But I'm just gonna kill off Scorpion. So there we have that one. It's there. And then I'm just gonna attack with Spider-Man to remove Vulture. Yeah. Or actually, Vulture might be. No, this is gonna attack only once. Actually, first one I killed, I get to remove 4 threat from a scheme. From a side scheme specifically. So 4 threat from a side scheme. And the last one, because it was the last villain, I get to remove 7. Which means next turn I'm gonna have to start caring about the main scheme. So this is what it looks like now. Okay, and that's all Spider-Man does. No, actually I could have... Oh shit, sorry. Looked at the card, but it wasn't necessary. Which means now I get to ready everything. Drop to 5, web shot, energy, global logistics, and surveillance team. While Ghost Spider adds to jump, flip, and phantom flip. I'm actually going to discard jump, flip to draw Victor Mancha, web binding, Ticket to the Multiverse, and Silk. Ooh. Which means it is the villain phase. Then we'll see here. 2, which means... Actually, I'm just gonna do... 11 is where we're at. And then he's gonna activate against Ghost Spider. But since there's no one there when a villain would activate, if no villain is in play, resolve the ambush ability. Continued activation. Choose a set aside villain at random. Put the villain into play and place the counter on it. And then place 2 threatened light. So let's see who we get. So this is the card we get. Let's see it in close up. We get Dr. Octopus. So after Doc Ock attacks and damages you, place a threat on each side scheme. Each scheme, actually. Okay, that's nasty. And then we put 2 extra threat on Light at the hand because we're in expert mode. Which means he doesn't activate... He doesn't activate against Ghost Spider, but it means he's going to attack Spider-Man. And Ghost Spider is going to defend that. So we have... Put this minion into play, engaged with you. Okay. Which means I take no damage. I can use... So, first of all, I can exhaust Web Binding and Victor Mancha. to play Phantom Flip to remove 5 threat from a scheme, which is going to be... Sorry. Which is going to be that one. Which means again, I get ready. I took no damage. Which means I can use Unflappable to draw a card. Now back down. So, Life-Size Decoy came out in front of me. 0 scheme, 0 attack, 5 health. In expert mode, Life-Size Decoy gets toughness. The engaged player cannot thwart side schemes. So that's really rough. Which is why I didn't... I mean, that actually happened after, but I still felt remove from main skill was important. So that's quite rough, actually. Which means it is... No, we haven't done... What am I doing? We haven't done this yet. So let's do these. Let's start by seeing Doc Ock. Partnership of Pain. When revealed hero, the villain with the highest activation order attacks you with plus X attack, where X is equal to the total attack of all other villains in play. So plus 0. So he just attacks for 2. I'll take that. Oh! Comes in for 5. Rough. And then we have Spider-Man. Partners of Pain, same here. Comes in for 2. I'm just gonna take that there as well. Only 4. Okay. Now it is our turn. After we go over with Spider-Man. Also, you forgot to put Dr. Octopus's health, which actually is 8. So I'm gonna use Gang Lee to draw a card. Oops. Mockingbird. And then I have to discard a card. Yeah, global logistics, okay. Ghost Spider is gonna have to flip down after she removes the tough status card. Sadly, I can't get her to remove it before, otherwise it would have been perfect. Actually, I do 8 myself here. Yeah. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna spend energy to play Web Shot, which is perfect. Deal 4 damage to an enemy. I'll deal 4 damage. He goes down to 4 health left. And then resolve Venom Blast. Deal 2 damage and stun. So 2 damage and stun, but then I'm also gonna use him to just deal the last 2 damage. Which means that one's gone. Like the end is gone, which means I flip it. So now we're gonna draw. Wait. Actually, you're supposed to have 10 more. How much was left now? It was 2 or something. So I'm just gonna leave the 5 because I forgot the 10 there before. It should start with 30 and not 20, actually. But that's better, actually. So that's what I'm gonna do. I don't remember what I had. And yeah. So here we had that. Which means I have 3 cards left. Which means I'm gonna use Government Liaison. And Arachnobatics. To play a Surveillance team, which comes in with 3 Snoop counters. Which means I can use one of those Snoop counters to remove a threat from the main scheme. Which, yeah, that was Spymaster. Life-size decoy. Well, now it's Ghost Spider with the life-size decoy. So I'm just gonna be as easy as I'm gonna pitch, take to the multiverse, throw in Silk, who's gonna punch away. First of all, actually, after you play Silk from your hand, if you control another Web Warrior card, search the encounter deck for a Treachery and discard it. So we can search for a Treachery. So, what's really, really nice is Gang Up's nice. Surprise is really, really terrifying. Shadows of the Past is scary. But also getting in like frequent flyers for product enhancements and that kind of stuff brings in more enemies, which might not be too bad. But they also have 3 in. Well, these can't be cancelled. So I'm gonna actually remove one of these. I'm gonna remove robotic enhancements is what I'm gonna remove. So yeah. That's that choice. Yeah. Now Silk's gonna remove the tough status card. Or token in my case. Take a damage for that. Ghost Spider is gonna flip back, recover 5 because I've upgraded it that much. Like that. And then back down is gonna be still here, I think. No, I'm gonna discard it at the end of my turn. Which means let's ready everything. So, Mockingbird has Mockingbird, Sonic Rifle, Surveillance Team, and Monica Shang. Whew. Then Gwen draws Parental Guidance, Web Binding, Web Bracelet, Subdue, Preemptive Strike, Ghost Kick. Okay. Which means we go into the villain phase. Oh, there we have it. 2 threats in the main scheme. Then instead of activating a Spider-Man, we're gonna throw in a random one. We draw Vulture! Nasty one. Which means he's gonna scheme against Gwen Stacy. +0, so only for 1. So not that scary right now. Which means now it is this and this. Which means Spider has gang up. The villain and each minion engaged with you attacks you. Yeah, that's rough. That's rough. Do I really? I'm not gonna defend that, am I? He can pull a +3 and kill me there, so I'm going to have to defend that. Yeah. +0, so I don't take any damage, which means I don't have to discard a card, but I'm going to use defense mechanism there to confuse him. Also, he comes in with 7 health. So I am confusing him, and also he has 7 health. And then I also myself get a tough status card. That's what I did. Which means gang up, which means next up, advance. The villain schemes. Perfect. Confuse. Predicted vulture. Predicted. I just didn't for some reason want to take more damage, like a surprise damage. So I just well, predicted. Let's go into Gwen Stacy's turn. I'm gonna play Parental Guidance, which means I get to search for George Stacy. There we have him, pretty low. I put him in my hand, yes. It's specifically an alter ego as well, so perfect moment. He costs 1 to play. So I'm going to discard a Web Binding. Play George Stacy, who I'm going to exhaust to put a Ghost Kick under him. Because remember, that's what he did, that he can put up to 3 events there, and then you can play them as if they were in your hand. So I'm actually going to do that 2-cost event. I'm gonna spend these subdue and prepare the strike to play Web Bracelets. And then I'm going to use the ability here to choose to shuffle Ticket to the Multiverse from my discard pile into my deck. And then I'm gonna flip to hero mode. And then I'm gonna start to annoy could annoy the decoy, but I can also start punching down Vulture. Now I'm gonna start on the decoy. Just so it's, you know, it's there. That's all she does. I don't know why I did that, because it's like that. Silk could do something, but I want to use her to block, probably. Yeah. Okay. Which means it is Spider-Man's turn. Let's see what Gank Lee can give me this turn. The last surveillance team. So playing Monica Chang sucks now. Well, discard pile or hand. So I could discard a surveillance team, which means I can do it like this, that I can discard the Sonic Rifles to play Surveillance Team. With I'm gonna have entire that's our friend, so he's gonna be up with us. We're gonna have a Surveillance Team row. So that one comes in with Snoop counters. Then I'm gonna exhaust Government Liaison. Use these two to play Monica Chang, which means I get to search my deck, hand, and discard pile for a copy of Surveillance Team and put it into play. And then I get to put up Snoop counter on each Surveillance Team I control. Which means I can start to I'm gonna do it like this. That's 1, 2, 3, and her with field agents not dealing damage to her. I'm gonna remove 4 threats from like the end. So I'm stuck with 1. So yeah. That was my turn this turn, so let's ready everything. Web shooter, my Surveillance Team army. I have still Mockingbird in hand, which is a good card to be fair. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, okay, next, unless something too bad happened, next turn's gonna be a super thwarty turn, actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Night Nurse, return to favor, prevent the strike, and tick to the multiverse. Okay. Which means vultures. Well, actually, sorry. Let's move to that camera first of all. And then that one goes up to 10. Which means Vulture is gonna start by attacking Ghost Spider. Who defends? For 3. Yeah. He's gonna... That's +2 and then an effect. Give the villain 1 additional boost card for this activation. So 2, 4. I can still defend 4, so I'm fine with another one. 1. Okay, that's not as good. I'm gonna see. So I'm gonna throw away a return to favor to play a preemptive strike to cancel that 1 and deal 1 damage back to him, which means I block all 4. Which means, first of all, I used an interrupt, so she readies, and I can use Web Bracelets to draw a card. I didn't take any damage from that attack, so I can exhaust Unstoppable to draw a card. I see why she's fun in defense, but I think she has to do the defense trying not to take damage defense. But yeah, these 2 are gone. Vulture attacks Spider-Man for place 1 threat on each scheme. And next one, place 1. Okay. Yeah. So I have to place 2 threat on each scheme, which means like that. But then tough status card hits in, so no damage. Which means we get encounter cards. Sorry, I forgot to switch back to the camera. It's very confusing for me to not switch between these two characters. But start with Shadows of the Past, which I can do this. Return the favor. To play a get behind me, which means he's gonna attack me instead. So I cancel Shadows of the Past, and he attacks me for 2. I'm gonna defend this as well. Actually, I'm gonna defend this. So he attacks for 2, 3, which I don't take any damage. I'm not gonna stand up because of this, because I've already used it, but I'm gonna use Tick to the Multiverse to play a Ghost Kick from hand, which lets me deal 6 damage, which means I'm gonna just KO the Vulture, which means those 2 disappears, and it flips immediately, which sadly gonna give me another encounter card, because it has that, but that's 5, 10, so it's 15, 25 is where this one comes in. So when the last thread is removed from this scheme, the player escapes and wins the game. Okay. What should we take in the counter card side? Spider-Man. Frequent flyers. Put the set aside Hobgoblin and Vulture into play. Hobgoblin and Vulture. 3/6, yes. Which means Hobgoblin comes in. And then if they were already in, you would have to do stuff. So actually, it's quite nice to remove the Vulture. I'm just gonna put on their health as well. Actually, I'm gonna just look at this one first. So we have to... So actually we lose the card there. So we have to go back. Sorry, I pulled Worried Father. So I'm losing her father and have to go back to get him back. That's annoying, but survivable. So we have 9 health. They just keep attacking these bastards. And now we have 7 health. Perfect. Which means it goes out to player turn. And we start giving this one to go to Monica Chang. Where... So actually, Hobgoblin, if he deals damage, he deals more damage. Okay, he deals 2 more indirect damage. But 25. Let's see what Gank Leakin brings us, okay? Draw a card. Another Homeland Intervention. I'm gonna discard Mockingbird. So let's see what we can do here. We're gonna play a Homeland Intervention. 0 cost event. Exhaust up to 3 shield cards. Let's start with the Surveillance teams. That's 3. And choose a scheme. Side scheme. Remove 2 threat from the scheme for each card exhausted this way. So that's 6 threat. So that one goes down to 4. Then we use another Homeland Intervention and exhaust these 3 to remove 6 more from that one. Actually, shit, sorry. Before I do the last one, before that, I'm gonna use the last web shooter and Genius to play Sky Destroyer to be able to exhaust that when I play the last one there to deal 2 damage. Because I can exhaust that one when I play a shield card to deal 2 damage to an enemy. So I get to deal 2 damage to Vulture. Actually, no, I'm gonna deal 2 damage to Hobgoblin instead. And then I'm gonna use my last web shooter there to play Endurance to get +3 health. And then I have Spider-Man's activation left. Which means I can punch one of them. Thwart the main scheme. 12. Yeah, I'm gonna thwart the main scheme. Remove 2 from the main scheme. Is what I'm gonna do. Because it was getting hectic. Then we go over to Gwen. Gwen doesn't do anything. Just doesn't do anything. She can't. She's gonna discard Night Nurse to pray for some better cards. She's keeping Silk if I need to. If I don't draw a good interrupt or responsibility for defending, then I can use the attack against her to block with Silk so she can block Spider-Man. But anyway, let's draw up. So we have Agent 13. Cleared area. Double life. Field agent. And web shot. Okay. Yes. And then Gwen. Hard to ignore. I forgot about those. Jump flip is something. Web bracelets. Hard to ignore. And Spider-Man. I only have physicals. I'm not gonna be able to play him anyway. Yes, so villain phase. Hobgoblin starts by attacking Spider-Man. And Gwen is gonna defend that for 3. Which means he attacks for 1. +2, which means... Well, she defends for 4, technically. So she's not gonna take any damage there. Which is quite annoying. I really wanted to take damage. I mean, I wouldn't be able to even if you pull a 3, so that's fair. I'm just gonna do stuff on my turn instead. And then... Vulture attacks her, and Silk is just gonna defend that. And take a hit of 2 damage. So Silk is dead. Shocker. And an encounter card each. Two encounter cards for Spider-Man, I forgot because light at the end. Which means take 1 for the team. Attach the villain with the highest attack. If you cannot resolve them, you cannot attack villains who do not have an attached copy of take 1 for the team. So we have to kill Vulture. Also, you are activating now. So we have to attack Vulture before we can kill Hobgoblin. That was sad. I was gonna kill Hobgoblin first. Anyway, next up, another life-size decoy. I'm not gonna thwart any side schemes with her. She's gonna be the main reason why I'm trying to, Anyway, so which means next one is exhaust my identity and surge, which is the last one. So first of all, so exhaust first. Then it's Surge, which means the next member discarding is Surge. This one also has Surge. Which means I have to shuffle the villain deck. But it's place one threat on the main scheme for each enemy in play. Huh. Yeah, so that actually means we're gonna break the thing. Also, it's gain Surge, so we're gonna have another one there. But that means, because we have 2 life-size decoy and 2 villains, so this one's gonna break actually. Which means it goes down to Sinister Beatdown. Choose a set villains random, put them into play, and place the active counter on it. And if no one's put in this play this way, and deal the player for 1 first down encounter card. Okay, so we're gonna get another encounter card because we're playing. So Craven the Hunter, which is 4. And we're gonna get another face up. And then it's just the same effect. It just comes in with more. Okay, wait. Comes in with more threat. Comes in with 6. And only requires 7 players. That's nasty. He has 9 hit points. And then I get another face down encounter card. So next face up in the encounter card is High Fashion. Put the set aside Electro and Craven the Hunter into play. Electro is the one we haven't seen, which is attack order 2. So let's look here. So you I have to kill first with your health. You, I don't know. Craven the Hunter, Hobgoblin, Electro, which has 8 health. This is what I was trying to avoid the entire game. Having too many villains to fight. And then if Craven the Hunter is already in play, discard the lowest cost card you control. Lowest cost card I control is Field Agent or Endurance, and I'm gonna remove Field Agent. Nasty, 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 nasty. Yeah. Which means that one's there. And then we have the next one, which is Partnership of Pain. The villain with the highest activation order value attacks you with plus X, where X is equal to the total attack of all. So Vulture attacks with plus 4, so it attacks for 6. Plus what? Monica, sorry. You take 6, 7, 8, 9 damage, Monica. You are dead. That would also kill Spider-Man. So thank God. Well, that was all that, which means now we can do stuff. Okay. How do I want to do this? Well, we can start by using the 3 surveillance teams to remove 3 threats from the victory condition. Then I'm gonna use gank. Oh, actually, no. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pitch 8 and 13 to play double life. Change your form. If you paid for this using a physical resource, which I did, I read my identity. Here, I play Gank Lee, which means I get to draw a card, which is a strength. Which doesn't really do any difference right now. Also, I get to shuffle one Spider-Man card from my discard pile into my deck. Which means I'm gonna want another web shot, because I'm gonna have to deal damage. The chance of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The chance of drawing it is pretty high. Now the question is, do I want to... Yes, I'm gonna just flip back into hero mode. Exhaust. Play field agent and clear the area. To play web shot with its boost, so deal 4 damage to an enemy. Vulture. Then resolve Venom Blast ability on Vulture, which deals 2 damage and stun the enemy. But I'm then just gonna use Spider-Man to kill Vulture. Which means I get to remove 4 threat from a side scheme. So we're down to 6 there. And that's all I do with him, which means we're now at Ghost Spider. Ghost Spider, we're gonna... might actually just remove Web Bracelet and Jump Flip to play too hard to ignore. Just to be able to remove threat from the main scheme. And that's all I'm going to do with her. Which means we go into cleanup phase. Up, 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 up. Draw 2, 3, 4, 5. So strength, double life, homeland intervention, Nick Fury, and power within. I think if we can do this without losing, we have won. Ghost Spider, Genius, Ghost Kick, hard to ignore, never back down. Which means we're gonna get the face down encounter card there. Perfect. So, villain face. 3 threats on the main main scheme, which we're up to 9, which is nasty. Villain face starts by attacking Spider-Man. And he's Craven for 2. So Ghost Spider is going to defend. And Ghost Spider is going to pitch hard to ignore. Play never back down. +2 defense, so 6 defense, and if you take no damage from this attack, stun the attacking enemy. It's also a hero interrupt, so he attacks for 2, 3, 4, 4, and just remove another card, which means I stun Craven, which is quite nice. Stun Craven, and then I get ready and I get to use these two. Let me draw 2 cards because I didn't take any damage. I also, on top of that, get to use Hard to Ignore to remove 2 threat from the main scheme. I think this Ghost Spider build, even in 2-player, I feel defense doesn't do too much. But since Spider-Man can do so much, especially in this one where you want to thwart, but if you just have like an aggression, or you know, this defense thing does so much. This defense deck. This is probably my favorite defense deck I've ever played in this game, which is a lot. Which means now it's up to Electro to attack Ghost Spider. I have to discard the top 7 cards of my deck if it hits. Ooh. That's... just give me 1 second. So, wait. Gonna explain in a second. Okay. So what happened was shit. There was the light box. I'm playing on my board game table right now. And it's not made to stream from yet. I'm gonna upgrade it to have like proper stream stuff. But I'm having the stream up on my TV so I can see what you see. And everything in like chat and everything if someone writes anything. And it said if you don't press OK on the thing, it's gonna shut down, so I had to go and do that. But yeah, where were we? Electro's gonna attack, discard top 7 cards on my deck. I'm gonna take that hit. One damage is what I take. Which is gonna remove the top 7 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But the thing is, I think that's fine as long as I can control the next. Also, yeah, it goes to Hobgoblin. 1, 2, 3. Actually, this one's the first one to him. This one is the first one to her. So let's see the first one here. Frequent Flyers. Put the set aside Hobgoblin and Vulture. Hobgoblin is already in play. Deal 2 indirect damage. If Vulture is already in play, discard 1 card at random from your hand. So yeah, that one is just gonna go pass. So let's just... where did I put Vulture? Did I put him in the discard pile? I did put him into a discard pile before. Good job. Which means he comes in with 7 hit points. Seven hit points. And then I take 2 indirect damage, and he's just gonna take to the face. And her first one is gonna be Cut Off Guard. It's gonna upgrade the support to control. If no cards were discarded this way. One of the Hard to Ignore. Next up. Parts of Pain. The villain with the highest activation attacks you. So this is the moment I want to use Subdue into a Get Behind Me to cancel that, and Hobgoblin attacks me, where I'm gonna defend for a total of 4, and he attacks for 3, which is fine, and then I'm gonna just use a Ghost Kick to deal 6 damage to an enemy, which means I'm gonna deal 6 damage to Vulture, who just came in. Then my last one here is Obligation. You may flip to alter ego form, choose. Exhaust Miles Morales or discard Genki Lee and Jefferson Davis. I'm gonna discard Genki Lee. and just take that one there, because I have a win here otherwise. Perfect. Which means it goes over to Ghost Spider's turn. She doesn't do shit. She just did her thing already. Then go into Spider-Man, who's gonna discard all 4 of these to play Nick Fury, because I want Nick Fury to be in the deck for this. I'm gonna exhaust Nick Fury, and so first of all, I can choose here to remove 2 threat from a scheme, or deal 4 damage to an enemy. Doesn't do any difference. Also, I can do Sky Destroyer here to kill Vulture. Which is Vulture instead. I remove 4 threat from the side scheme, which means we're down to 2. And I choose to deal 4. Yeah, it doesn't do any difference because I can do 4 damage here, which doesn't do a difference at all. So I can just play Homeland, Invention, do Surveillance Team, Surveillance Team, Surveillance Team to remove 6 threat from light at the end, which means we have won. So, woo! And first of all, I like this scenario. It's different. It's more fun than Wrecking Crew, which is another one of the has so many enemies. I must say, way better than Wrecking Crew. I wonder how this one is gonna be in the campaign. But I like this one especially because yeah, no, it's just I really like this one because how do I say this? Unlike what they usually feel like some campaign feel gimmicky, some scenarios, just because it fits in the campaign, which I love. I love that. It should, like Collector 2. You basically only play the campaign unless you randomize into it. But I would love to pick this one up again, play this one again. I want to play it in the campaign. I am gonna play through the campaign. If you guys are interested in seeing me playing through the entire campaign with these 2 decks, or if you want any modifications to the deck for it, I could probably fix that. That would be fun. And yeah, I really liked it. I'm not gonna write it up on the spreadsheet like we usually do, because it was not a true solo game, so it doesn't deserve. Also, I haven't fixed so I can write it from here. And so yeah. Next week we're gonna go back to pure randomizer. We're gonna randomize hero. We're gonna add the new heroes, of course. Randomize aspect. Randomize the villains with the new villains in there, of course, as well, with the new model encounter sets. So yeah, I've missed streaming a lot, and I can't wait to start doing it again. So thank you all so much for joining, and have an amazing week until we see you next week. Bye.